Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today, which is on voluntary return and complementary pathways. Now, we ran our webinars on resettlement in April, so you can take today's session as the second and final part to our webinars on solutions. When we think about solutions for refugees in Malaysia, most of us immediately think about resettlement. So while it's true that resettlement is still the main solution in the Malaysian context, we do have two other solutions that are relevant to refugees in Malaysia. Let us now talk about the second solution, voluntary repatriation or VOREP. Although this would not be the preferred solution for a vast majority of refugees in Malaysia, it is still an option for those who see this as a solution to their personal circumstances. Firstly, it might be helpful for us to walk through the definition of VOREP. VOREP is the return in safety and with dignity to the refugee's country of origin based on their free and informed decision. Here we can see, when we talk about VOREP, there are two important components. Firstly, return in safety and dignity, and secondly, free and informed decision. I guess we can take return in safety and dignity just plainly, that when an individual returns to his or her country, the individual returns safely and does so while being respected. Now, our current VOREP activities are centered around ensuring a free and informed decision, the other component that is highlighted in bold. Free basically means the individual is returning to his or her country willingly and without being forced. Informed decision, on the other hand, means that the individual received all necessary information before he or she arrived at a final decision on if he or she would return to his or her country. So truly, the conditions in the countries where most refugees in Malaysia come from do not allow for return in safety and dignity. As such, there are no large-scale VOREP programs in Malaysia at this time. When we talk about big VOREP programs, there needs to be an agreement between three parties: the country of origin, the country of asylum, and UNHCR. And this three-party agreement will include detailed plans for the return processes, as well as processes that help the individual build his life again when he returns to his country. Given the situation, what our office is able to do currently is to conduct individual VOREP counseling sessions for those who wish to return to their home country. While we are not in a position to promote return, we can try to ensure that those who wish to return at least receive accurate and sufficient information to help them arrive at that informed decision. At this point, now let us look at what the VOREP counseling session covers. Here is the list. An individual attending the VOREP counseling session will be briefed about, firstly, the situation in his or her country of origin. This is the core component of the counseling session, as we wish for the individual to be fully aware of the situation or risk so that he or she can arrive at an informed decision on returning. So this part of the counseling will focus on the security situation and risk in the country of origin, sometimes specific to the area of intended return if there is available information. On the next 2 points, the counseling session also covers possible support services in the country of return, although we do also emphasize that this is very limited for almost all countries due to the fact that there is no big return program. The fourth item, IOM's AVRR program. Maybe it's good that I first provide some background information on these for those of us who may not be familiar. The AVRR program, or the Assisted Voluntary Return and Reintegration Program, is administered by the International Organization for Migration, or IOM. It mainly provides flight ticket assistance to returnees, and only for very vulnerable cases, it also covers expenses for pre-departure medical screening. UNHCR will refer cases of those who wish to explore assistance under the AVRR program to IOM, after which IOM will interview and assess if a flight ticket will be purchased for the individual. Besides the first four items, the session also covers perhaps the component that is of most interest to potential returnees, and that is the immigration exit procedures. We will not be elaborating on the immigration exit procedures during today's session to minimize confusion, as they do change from time to time. Individuals attending the VORAC counseling session will be briefed on the latest procedures. And last but not least, we also alert potential returnees of obstacles that may exist if they are thinking of re-entering Malaysia after returning to their country of origin. On this, the Malaysian immigration bars the re-entry of individuals who have stayed in Malaysia without a valid visa and returned to their country of origin. Now, if you are thinking about returning to your country of origin and wondering what the current processing time is, it is around 2 weeks from the expression of interest till VRF issuance. VRF stands for the Voluntary Repatriation Form, which is an essential document to be submitted at the Immigration Office when one is applying to exit Malaysia. VRF issuance is also part of UNHCR's efforts to facilitate return, apart from providing individual counseling. It is important to note that the time frame for this leg of the processing does change from time to time, although it should not exceed 3 weeks. After VRF issuance, it depends on when the individual can approach the Putrajaya Immigration Office and how smooth the process goes from then on. If the individual had requested to be assessed for flight assistance under IOM's AVR program, the entire process could lengthen by 3 months or more. Do note that the time frame for the AVR assessment varies greatly from case to case and may even stretch to over a year. During the counseling session, individuals are duly counseled that they should expect to wait for the completion of the AVR assessment so they can consider for themselves if this is something they would like to pursue. And we are on to our last slide on VORAP. How do refugees inform UNHCR of their interest to return? Now, an individual registered with UNHCR who is interested to return can fill out the contact form that is available on our Refugee Malaysia website. The address or URL to the contact form is stated on this slide. Upon receiving their expression of interest through this contact form, the Durable Solutions Unit will contact the individual to schedule an appointment for VORAP counseling. Just also to highlight here, for those who are not registered with UNHCR but wish to return to their country, they can email IOM at the email address stated on this slide. IOM will be the organization to assist and not UNHCR. So the last thing we have on VORAP is this very important message here, which is in red on this slide. For those who intend to return to your country of origin, please do not purchase your flight ticket before you attend your VORAP counseling session. We have had in the past some individuals approach our office with their flight tickets already bought, expecting to be able to undergo VORAP counseling on the same day and to depart Malaysia at short notice. Please note that our office simply does not have the capacity to conduct VORAP counseling on an ad hoc basis. Further, it is hard to predict if the process of obtaining a special pass and exit permit from the Putrajaya Immigration Office will go smoothly. Due to these reasons, purchasing a flight ticket before you attend your VORAP counseling session might result in the ticket going to waste. Please do take note of this and help pass this message to other members of your community because financial resources, as we know, are so precious.